So this video is a tour of Brooklyn Bridge. Let's start here with this wonderful building. Passing on the outside of it, it's fantastic. Just on the Manhattan side, just near City Hall. When I skip forward to not being on the bridge, you can do. I'm just going to wander around here and start the walk. I'll get up in the traffic. It's about 8 in the morning, so there's plenty of rush hour traffic when we're looking to get to work. Not us though. We're on tour. I'll walk a bit more briskly than normal. It's quite a way to the start of the bridge really. This is a long way to it. Jogger there and his foot is on. Get an early start.
Yeah.
So I've come at this time for a couple of reasons. It's a bit cool this time of day. It's going to be about 78, 79 degrees today, so it's not too bad at the moment. It's low 70s. And also the bridge shouldn't be packed. It's still pretty busy. You can see people up there, so it's not totally quiet, but it's better than later. It's a bit like being in a sardine can later on. Probably the joggers come now, so they can have a clear run without being impeded by tourists who are looking at the sights and walking really slowly. So this spot here used to be full of little traders selling all their wares until the city decided that it was making the bridge look untidy and also blocking people from walking. So they basically got rid of most of them. There's the odd one or two. They won't be on here yet, it's too early. Probably a couple selling water and knickknacks. So one improvement to the bridge is, I believe now, there's a cycle lane, one stage. Pedestrians were alongside cyclists and it's a bit organised chaos, sometimes just chaos. I believe now the cyclists have their own lane, so less chance of getting whacked by cyclists.
Which makes sense, I mean, obviously. But,
So the bridge was constructed in the 1900s. It was quite a feat to do what they did, given the actual length of the bridge. What happened back in the day was the East River that we're going to cross over in a short time, that would freeze over in winter. So it was bad for ferries. So they started work on the bridge in about 1869, I believe it was. And when it was completed, it was the longest suspension bridge in the world. So, from my brief research, it's called suspension bridge because the suspending cables that basically hold the bridge up. There's miles and miles of the stuff, so it can be strong enough to support the bridge. lovely day today, nice blue skies. It's pretty much gridlock on the right hand side with the cars and traffic here at this time of morning. The guy who started this bridge was a guy called John Roebling. His task was to start it and complete it, but unfortunately he had an accident while constructing it. He got basically trapped in between the boat he was on and the landing station. I'm not sure his leg or his foot, I think it was his leg. So he survived it, but being the hero that he was, he decided that hospital treatment was not required. Not a good move back in those days, because he ended up getting gangrene, and the gangrene killed him. So that was a rookie mistake. So words to the wise, you've got an injury that's relatively serious, seek medical help. Right, we're just coming off this start of the bridge. Get off this walkway. Got some nice wooden slats as we walk along the bridge. So this concrete. So the next guy up to try and complete the bridge was a guy called Washington Roebling, who was the son of John Roebling. He got tasked with carrying on the job. Fortunately, he also had a early exit, so he didn't finish the bridge either. So what happened was, in the East River, they had to dig very deep to put the foundations in. Very risky job. A lot of people died, I think. So the East River is quite deep. Shock. What happened with Washington Roebling, he actually went down there to, I'm not sure if he was like humping or just inspecting. I'm guessing he was inspecting. So they had all the diving gear on, so they could breathe underwater. Now unfortunately, back in the day, they didn't know about the bends, which is when you get excess nitrogen in your blood when you come up from deep water too quickly. So I think you can piece it together. That's what he did. Came to the surface too soon, too quickly, and got the bends. I think he lived for quite some time, but he was not a well man. He was bedbound. He was cared for his wife, which we shall come back to her story later. So he perished away before his time. So that's two Roeblings down who didn't get to finish the bridge. Maybe, just maybe, it might be third time lucky for the Roeblings. I'll let you know shortly. So hopefully you can see these suspension cables, which are really thick. And they're what's doing the magic of keeping the bridge up. We're viewing spots further up, so we'll have a bit of a breather soon. Here's Here's our first plaque on the bridge. Just give you some information about the erection of the bridge. People involved, so you got engineers John A. Roebling and Washington A. Roebling. There's a person missing off that list, and we'll get to that later on. It sums up the section of life. I'll not spoil that one too soon. Just trying to look upriver. Beautiful today with the sunlight off the water. Hopefully not blowing the shot because it's difficult to see the screen. Just in front of us is the Manhattan Bridge. You can walk the Manhattan Bridge, it's not as nice a walk as this one because you're basically down the side of it on a narrow walkway, and you've got the cars and also very noisy subway. Still worth a walk though, especially at night. There's some great views. There's a tower block right next to it. Loads of bridges on this section. I think the next one after the Manhattan Bridge is the Williamsburg Bridge. The one that's walkable and cyclable. You hire a bike, or you got your own bike. As well as cycle from Manhattan into Williamsburg. We'll just go across to the side. Hopefully directly ahead of us you can just make out Governor's Island, which you can get to by a free ferry. Well worth the trip. You can glamp there for extortionate money, or you can get yourself a spa and hot tub and gaze back at Brooklyn and Manhattan. Just going to spin back, give you a view of downtown Brooklyn. We've got City Hall and all those buildings in front of us, classic buildings, and then just to the left we've got a building with a wonderful pattern to it that we started with, and also One World. Just going to keep going. I think that's the FDR road there. It's goes on the outside of Manhattan, and a few more downtown buildings. There's a building there that looks like it's under construction and it's actually been abandoned. Again, another example of New York greed. Just give you a brief history, I don't want to keep it too long. So when the finished with the architecture, they decided to start building. They got some engineers to assess how deep the pylons need to go into the ground. The engineers came back with their idea, saving I think it's about $6 to $8 million in savings. They decided rather to put the pylons as deep as should be into the rock bed, because there's some great rock underneath these buildings. They decided to pack it with concrete instead into the ground. So then they started building and they got pretty much to the top, and realised that even with the concrete in the ground it wasn't secure enough, so there's a slight lean on it. The slight lean on a skyscraper is disastrous. So all those $1 million condos that they'd sold, that's to be refunded. There's currently a lawsuit between the builders and the developers. Builders are saying, well, you didn't tell us about this ground being unstable. And the developers are trying to blag it because it's going to cost them a fortune. Just going to pan to the right. See uptown there, skyscrapers uptown. So you also got skyscrapers in midtown, skyscrapers downtown, and this middle section where there are none. And that's not because they're good at the city saying no more skyscrapers, it's to do with, again, with the rock that's beneath Manhattan. So you've got fantastic bedrock in midtown, and you've got fantastic bedrock downtown. The middle section doesn't have that bedrock, so most of us have worked out that if you dig deep enough and put your palms into the bedrock, your skyscrapers are very secure. If you don't have that bedrock in the underneath, then it's not worth building any skyscrapers. It's just too risky. Unless you're those idiots who did that one there that was faulty. Right. Enough of my rubbish history. Get back onto the walk. No one's into the bins yet. Still relatively quiet in terms of foot traffic. Not so quiet with the cars and other vehicles, but you get used to it after a bit. It's quite lulling after a bit. Lots of joggers, can't blame really. You've got a nice straight run. Whichever side you start off to where you're going. From this time of the morning, you're not dodging the foot traffic, so it's not too hot either. He's getting warm, but I don't think too alright. Really good stretch for the joggers is Riverside Park, which runs up the west side of Manhattan. Past the park, you got a cycle route, walking route, great views of New Jersey side, and it's a great jogging route. It goes on for miles. It's pretty flat and pretty straight. Well worth a walk, by the way. There's loads of stuff to do on that side in terms of activities. There's sunbathing spots, great views uptown, downtown, and across to New Jersey. If you like your biking, it's a fantastic cycle route. So we're roughly about halfway across the bridge. As you can see, not a lot of shade, obviously.
I immediately
so if you're like me, you overheat easily. I would say come first thing in the morning when it's pretty quiet, or leave it till later on when the sun starts to go down. The downside with the latest lot is that this bridge will be absolutely jammers. Just going to turn around and give it a spin, see where we come from. Something you can't do when it's busy because you just get heckled, stopping people. No, you're motorcyclists. Interrupting my downtown Manhattan shot. That's the Statue of Liberty out over there. New Jersey dockyards, Governor's Island. And we'll pan round and we get to the shots of Brooklyn, including the infamous Lord of the Rings Tower. It's not its actual name, but it does resemble something out of Lord of the Rings. Right, I'll shut up a bit. Probably my voice is getting a bit grating now, so you can enjoy the bridge in silence. Park the cars.
This is when you come and pick.
That guy's filling the pace. Someone just started. Ouch. Coming up to the last suspension structure. It's a good time to tell you about Emily Roebling. She was the third Roebling to crack on with the bridge. And she was the wife of Washington Roebling, who died of the events. She cared for him while he slowly slipped away. Then she took over the project. What you should have done in the first place, probably give the job to her, because you want something doing, give it to a woman. She finished the bridge in style. So congrats. Where the sexism came in. So, although she finished the bridge, the two Roeblings, because they were men, they got the credit for it. So, rather belatedly, on the Brooklyn side, you can have this plaque which says the builders of the bridge dedicated to the memory of Emily Warren Roebling, whose faith and courage helped her stricken husband, Colonel Washington A. Roebling, complete the construction of this bridge, and the plans of the father, which is John A. Roebling, who gave his life to the bridge. Back of every great work, you can find the self-sacrificing devotion of a woman. So, like I say, belatedly, they acknowledged her contribution. Person who actually oversaw the finishing of the bridge. It took me years to recognise the fact that she was the one. Better late than never, I guess, but it should have been a lot sooner. So not only did she finish the bridge, she survived it. Kudos to her. It's the final stretch of the bridge, and then you've got a walkway like you did on the other side to get into Brooklyn. If you ever come to New York and you're going to do the bridge, which you should do, you might be debating the pros and cons of starting from Manhattan into Dumbo, into Brooklyn, or the other way around. There's pros and cons either way. What I would say is it's definitely worth coming into Brooklyn, and I'll give the reasons why. So we're now coming into a section of Brooklyn called Dumbo. It's which is an acronym for down under the Manhattan Bridge overpass. Now Dumbo used to be a right dump. It was like full of businesses and factories, but city-wise they saw an opportunity, as did the developers who like to make money out of it. So turned Dumbo into a really nice spot. So you've got the iconic photo of the Manhattan Bridge with the Empire State Building, which people go to it, wedding parties. So that's a great spot to come to. We've got the Timeout Market, which is a lovely building, great food, drinks, get great views of Manhattan from this side. There's two fantastic parks to walk and get photographs. Then you can wander up to Brooklyn Heights. There's like a promenade up there, and then Brooklyn Heights is beautiful. That's where all the rich actors and celebrities, not all of them, but quite a few of them, live up there. So Dumbo and the surrounding area is a fantastic location to visit. Well worth the time. You could start in from this side and go the other way. Just get say the A subway train to High Street. It's about a 5 to 10 minute walk back to Dumbo and the bridge. Or you can start like I did off in Manhattan, walk the bridge, check out Dumbo, check out Dumbo and the surrounding areas, and then get the train back. Now with City Mapper and Google Maps, piece of cake to find the subway station. Quick pan round and we'll see where it came from.
I can't believe that dip.
If you walk from this side, you get some stunning views as you're walking. But take photos or some videos along the way as you do it. Pause here and then I'll rejoin you when we're in Dumbo, because the last bit of the walk is not very exciting. Catch you in a bit. Right, we're now in Dumbo, so a couple of quick tips here. When you get near the bottom, you can either go straight forward where all the traffic goes, or you can branch off to the left, go to the left, go down some steps. Loads of vendors there who usually, like by mid-morning, they're all set up. Get some drinks there, some ice creams, beverages, souvenirs, so you can refresh if you've got a bit tired or thirsty or whatever from the walk. When you come down those steps, if you take a left, you then walk down the hill into Dumbo, which is where I am now. Plenty of shops down here, actual clothing shops, type like that, or you can visit some coffee shops. There's a famous shop there called Peas and Pickles. Won't forget that name in a hurry. That is from Street Pizza. Very good pizza. Although if you do your homework, there's so many good places in this area. You've got Grimaldi's.
How much is it?
Juliana's on the front near the water. They're both great. But I say Grimaldi's is a little bit overpriced because of its reputation and history. So, probably get that one a wide berth. But if you do go there, you will enjoy the pizza. It's very good. Selling choice of coffee is Joe Coffee. I find it a little bit bitter, but each their own. There's a coffee shop here, just across this walkway. Nice cobbled streets. We're currently on Washington Street. This time of day you do find tourists because this is the prime spot for the photograph of the Empire State Building in between the arches of the Manhattan Bridge. So once it's a certain time, there's always tourists down here. If people getting married, they come down here to get photos down here as well. So if you want a good slot, I'd say come early. The later you do it, the more you're bashing elbows people to get the perfect shot. I'm trying to brag, but I've done this about a million times, so I'm going to keep on trucking. It's a beautiful part of Brooklyn down here. Got the money shot there, the Manhattan Bridge. That lovely park down here. It's packed down here at night at sunset. Tons of people looking for photos of the bridges with the sun going over the skyscrapers. Hopefully catching the noise of the subway cars on Manhattan Bridge. You get that all the time when you're walking across it. It's not a quiet one. Right, so right here we still have the original tracks from when the trains used to move products from the factories to where they were going. So nice touch, they've kept the original tracks. Just get a lot of people killed down here back in the day, getting run over by the trains. Trains didn't stop for nobody. We've also got a nice shot there of the Brooklyn Bridge where he's come from. Cross over here, just enter this park area here. Nice sculpture there for a pose. Go around. These little parks are great for a bit of a chill out. Got plenty of shade, so it's cool as well. Got a playground there if you've got some kids. Or you grab a coffee or a drink and chill out for a bit. There's loads of iconic photograph spots down here. Should be coming up to one soon. So yeah, definitely worth a visit. Especially on a nice day, it's just stunning. That's the East River in front of us. And this is where one of the groups of photographers and tourists come to get videos and photographs all times of the day. But it is great at sunset. It's heaving, so if you want a spot on the steps, you've got to get here well before sunset. Lots of professional photographers as well who want that money shot, trying to sell it. See where you come here, you have the sunset, Brooklyn Bridge and downtown Manhattan behind it. When the sun goes down, it reflects off those buildings. It's an absolutely gorgeous picture. And also when it gets dark, it's all lit up. You also get a 2 for 1 there because you got Manhattan Bridge there to the right. You can look further along there and get shots of both bridges at the same time. If you want the sunset look, I would come to this spot here. Usually guys on the jet skis as well at sunset, showing off.
Let's run around.
I'll walk around here and we'll make a beeline for James Carousel, which is another iconic money shot for the Instagram photos. It's not open at present because of the time of day, but come a little bit later it will be. I think the ride is still operational as well. It's a great money shot in the evening as well when it starts to get a bit darker and it's lit up. Exiting Brooklyn Bridge Park. There's another park further across which we'll get to in a short while. It's also fantastic. And to our left you've got the Timeout Market. Head down to James Carousel, show you that, and then we'll just pop into the market. Around, let's get a shot of the Manhattan Bridge.
Then it doesn't just locally.
So this is James Carousel. Just over here, I can tell you the opening times. So it looks like it's closed all day Tuesday, but other than that, you come down here for 10, it should be open. And it closes at 6:50 in the evening for the last ride. It's also great lit up as well. give you a potted history here, if you can bear with it. Just pan right around there to the carousel. It was created by the Philadelphia Toboggan Company in 1922. It was purchased down here in 1983, renovated because it wasn't in great condition. Now it's one of the iconic money shots of Dumbo. I'll make a beeline for the market. Not surprisingly, it costs quite a bit of money to make, so it's not the cheapest option if you want food and drink, but it's New York, baby! So it's worth a visit. It's not that bad. Some really good food options in here as well. Covers a lot of taste, so you can do your homework before you come here and see which one grabs your fancy, or you can just come down, check out the sights, the smells, and make your mind up from there. So keen today to get out early, it's actually not open yet. But that gives me a chance to show you, around you, the rooftop park. Worth visiting the rooftop because you get some great money shots of Manhattan and the bridges. They don't even charge you a dime for it. You can either take these stairs that we're doing, steps, or there's also an elevator for the lazy people out there. Walk up steps is not too bad. A few flights. The restaurant and bar in there, so it's got different levels to it. So you got some great photos looking for those original arches. Get like your arty ones. Pretend you're a professional photographer. A bit like this. See Hudson Yards in the distance there, and the edge. Can't really miss it. Or you can get shots of the bridge. Your best bet is to come to the top level, one more flight of stairs. Bring your drink up here. Some seating places as well, so you can chill. Gotta go on this side. Wander on the other side. There's the elevator. like I said, plenty of seating areas. It's also a place to put your drinks and maybe some food, you eat some snacky stuff over here. And then you get these great views. I paid all this money to come to New York, you also get the stunning scenery for free. That wraps up this one. Thanks for watching. I haven't bored you too much. Let the sceneries run through over my grating voice. Catch you later.